Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Host, and welcome back to the Baseball Head 2, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe. I'm going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles in this video. The Orioles, in my opinion, just to get it all out in the open, I thought they did very little this year to help their club. Fortunately for them, the New York Yankees have been decimated by injuries, massive injuries, one to Garrett Cole and to Lewis Hill, and of course, Giancarlo Stanton's probably going to miss the season as well. So the Yankees are not the clear-cut favorite that they would have been if they didn't have these injuries to their team. And the Yankees are not the best team in baseball by far. They were probably the best team in the American League, bar none, in my opinion. And the reality was that there was no team that could challenge them in the American League. They were going to lose to whoever National League team they would have played. But we still have to play a season. You never know injuries for other teams. But the Orioles did nothing this offseason. And they have new ownership. And the ownership said to spend money. And the general manager did not do that. All right. And because of that, even though they still have a lot of talent, they still have a lot of talent in their farm system. There's very little talent in terms of starting pitching. And to be honest with you, along on the side, they needed to bring in veteran players the last 2 years to help guide this team, because you need veteran players to sort of smooth out the edges of a young team trying to win. Let me read the headline from ESPN.com. Orioles bring with talent thin on starting pitching. That's right. That's right. The state of the 2025 Baltimore Orioles, one of an enviable surplus and position player talent and a potential deficit in the pitching department, was on display in their clubhouse Tuesday afternoon. First, 41-year-old Charlie Morton, second oldest player in the majors, was scratched from his Grapefruit League start against the Toronto Blue Jays that evening without an immediate reason, briefly raising concerns the Orioles' rotation had experienced another setback. Within minutes, corner infielder Kobe Mayo, one of the top prospects in baseball, openly expressed his displeasure to reporters about Baltimore's decision to option him to minor league camp. But Morton was not injured. The Orioles chose to have him pitch in a simulated setting on a backfield instead of facing division rival. And the Orioles are not down on Mayo, who has clubbed 34 homers with a .919 OPS in AAA over the past 2 seasons. They simply decided that they did not have room for him on the big league roster. That's what happens when you have a good team. Orioles manager Brandon Hyde said. The Orioles expect to be good for a reason. The question is how good. This year's club features a lineup fueled, and I would mention Gunnar Henderson's hurt. So there's really no real sense of when he's going to play. This year's club features a lineup fueled by a ballyhooed young core that should match even after Anthony Santander and his 44 homers left to join the Blue Jays. Starting rotation, however, projects as the worst in a loaded American League East, the only division of baseball that Dakota projects will have all 5 teams with at least 80 games. That will win at least 80 games. But again, like I said, these teams are going to win a lot of games, win 80 games, 75 to 80 games, roughly 77 to 80 plus. But the problem is that none of those teams are as good as the National League teams. None of them. They're not as good as the Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, or even possibly the Brewers. Just to keep that in mind. The other 4 teams are really, really good. I'd say it's going to be a dogfight every night. You're going to be facing somebody that's really good on a nightly basis in the division. The Orioles have been good enough to navigate the treacherous AL East and reach the postseason each of the past 2 years. Whether they can make another playoff appearance, if only win a game in October, will come down to their pitching, particularly the starting rotation. The Orioles do not have a proven ace. They had one last season in Corbin Burns, a former Cy Young Award winner whom they acquired entering his final season before free agency. Now, he had a good year. At the All-Star team, he had a good year. They should have resigned him. They traded good players. They chose Joey Ortiz, who is now the shortstop for the Brewers. He can play every day for the Brewers. He played third base last year for them every day. Now he's their everyday shortstop. So they traded really good players from their farm system to get Burns, and they let him walk. Okay? If you're going to be good, you have to keep your pitching. I know that the attitude is you don't sign these guys, but if you're going to sign, million-year-old Charlie Morton, you think he would sign Corbin Burns. You take the shot at trying to win the division, win the pennant, and just a mess. The Orioles have replaced Burns with two veteran, and I would mention Burns signed with the Diamondbacks in the middle of the night in December. The Orioles have replaced Burns with two veteran free agents on the wrong side of the aging curve. Morton, who's 40-something years old, and 35-year-old Tomoyuki Sagano on one-year deals from a combined $28 million. Again, and Sagano's never pitched in the majors. He's been in Japan, so who knows how he's going to pitch. I'm sure he'll be very professional, but nobody knows until they pitch here. To fill the hole left by Santander in the outfield, they signed veteran Tyler O'Neill to a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. In the process, Baltimore and David Rubenstein's first offseason principal owner raised his luxury tax payroll from $89.4 million to $126.8 million, which ranks 24th in baseball. That's not good enough. If you're going to win a championship, you have to do more than what's expected. Okay? You have to be no doubters about what you're going to do. Okay? But at the same time, you want to be smart. You want to be able to bring in people that can augment your team. I thought last offseason there were two guys in the free agent market that could have really helped them, and that was Justin Turner and Tommy Pham. That really would have given them some leadership in that clubhouse, and they wouldn't have been moves that needed to be. You didn't have to break the bank for them. And as offseason, I also thought that they should have went after and brought in Justin Turner again, because he played for them years ago before he, was picked up by the New York Mets. He's a guy that he's a leader. He likes to teach players on how to play well. It made no sense not to sign him, and he didn't have to be a key guy, but a key guy in the clubhouse. All right, now with the pitching, Morton is not a number one starter anymore. He never was anyway, but he's certainly not a number one starter here. Now they also made bad trades last year and before the trade deadline. Trevor Rogers, which had been with the Marlins, they traded him and they sent him to the minor leagues in September, which complete total disaster. The trades they made last year were disasters. All right. I wonder what's going on with the general manager there. It doesn't seem to me, from this distance, that they are any good with that general manager. They're a team that needs a very aggressive general manager to be a contender. They're a contender, but they're not doing the extra little things that makes you into a sustainable winner, get to the World Series, and possibly win it. The Baltimore Orioles have not won a World Series since 1983. That's 42 years. That is a long time between drinks of champagne. That's a long time. You're talking about 2 generations of Orioles fans have not seen a World Series. They've not seen a World Series since the second year of Cal Ripken Jr.'s career in the major leagues. And that was the year he won the MVP. It's the last time they went to the World Series and won it. 42 years. Just think about that for a second. Now, they had a good owner, Peter Angelos. He spent money. They did their best to be a good team. They were a good team. But over the last 20 years, the Orioles have been bad 11 of the last 20 years. And not just bad, historically bad. Where they've lost 95 games plus. Prior to this renaissance they've had over the last 3 seasons, they were one of the worst teams in baseball. Their attitude about spending money and breaking their team down is why we have the no tanking rules with the draft. They took it too far, to where they were getting draft pick after draft pick after draft pick. Teams like the Orioles and the Astros ruined a good thing for every other team. So any team that is having a bad year, but because they spend a certain amount of money, they don't get a top pick. It's not right. I would mention a team's getting penalized, and rightfully so, is the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox have been bad the last 2 years, historically bad. They shouldn't get it. They've done nothing to improve that team. They did nothing this offseason. They traded their best pitcher. They're being penalized. Good. But getting back to the Orioles and finishing up with the Orioles. The Orioles are going to contend. They're going to win close to 90 games. But you need these veteran players that are going to help you in these tough spots in August and September, know how to navigate your team. And this team needs better pitching if it's going to go further. They did not win any postseason series the last 2 years. They've looked terrible the last 2 years in postseason. Not ready for prime time. And sometimes you need veteran players to guide a young team. And if you don't have that, you're screwed. Really. And it's just a waste. You don't want to waste the years of your players when you have a good contending team, because before you know it, they're going to be going to arbitration, the money's going to go crazy, and then they're going to be free agents and they're going to leave. That's why it's so important when you have a chance to win, you go all out as quickly as you can to do it. It's no guarantee you're going to win tomorrow, ever. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to Baseball Head 2, and I'll see you later.